Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. It is the Boom Bar right here on your Boom Radio NG. My name is Oladolupo, and I bid you a warm welcome to the bar this beautiful Thursday afternoon. It promises to be a very interesting one. If you're just joining us for the very first time, it is the Boom Bar where we give you everything sports, politics, music, entertainment, everything in between. And everything in between can really be anything in between, you know. So sit back and relax. And we're going to be talking about quite a number of things today. Labour Party crisis. It doesn't look like it's ending anytime soon. Defections still continue, especially in the House of Representatives. They've resumed like 2 days and everybody shall moving here left and right. That we're going to be talking about. Also, the Senate has passed 2 of the 4 tax bills. I think that they're supposed to pass the rest of that today. We'll get round to it as well. President Tinubu is in Anambra State. Quite a number of conversations about that. Also, VDM has also been released conditionally by the EFCC and quite a number of other things. So sit back, relax, and enjoy today's show. My name is Oladolupo, you know, the one and only. And with me in the studio today, apparently, it's not just Shola Rogers, because I'm sure that everybody's waiting to hear Shola Rogers. Yeah, it is Shola Rogers. He's in the studio. However, somebody that I decided to...
Oh God, Daddy Shoki, welcome.
Grace the...
Welcome.
Welcome.
Daddy Shoki, welcome.
Welcome.
Where you go a long time. Welcome.
Maybe viewers need to ask. Help us
You did
ask.
for GRA get to. Welcome.
Is you.
It's
Is
talking
you.
about that shit.
Is you.
I didn't touch table. I've not touched
Oh yeah,
table.
rearrange yourself.
Good afternoon.
Anyway.
Good evening. Thanks to Lupo. Thank you so much. Shana. It's been, well, sad enough to be away, but glad enough to be back.
He's speaking English for you people. He's speaking plenty English for you people. Anyway, welcome back. It's actually breath of fresh air to have Okuti back. Quite a number of people had asked. He said that he went
In search of
pastures green. So, if I may ask,
under the apple tree.
were the pastures green enough?
Under the apple tree.
I came, I saw, I conquered.
Oh.
He actually likes coming a lot, and he comes here, comes there, goes here, goes there.
Okay.
Especially when we have to change chairs on a musical level, politics,
You know, moving
I
up and
moved
down.
up and down, up and down, up and down, not
Yeah.
down.
Up and down.
Up and down.
Up and down.
When you do up and down, it's
Okay,
fine.
so you are...
Small time you see me, sometimes some small time you won't see me, as I usually say, but glad to be back. Wow.
Interesting. Anyway, so, and as usual, there's Shola Rogers somewhere around. Anyway, moving on from that quickly, before we go on, if people, shout out to everybody listening and watching us. We're going to also, you could also catch us by listening or calling into the studio, actually. You could actually call into the studio. I'm putting out the number right now. It's actually going to be right now. You could call into the studio.
Yeah, WhatsApp
or
only.
send a message. It's WhatsApp only. Actually, it is +234 9161 637661. Again, +234 9161 637661. If you have comments about any of the topics that we're going to be talking about today. So let's get right into it. President Tinubu is in Anambra. So, I think I saw a picture of him coming down out of it, and he's in their usual red, what's it called? However, I was going to say, we see it happens a lot. I'm not even going to say it doesn't happen a lot, but I'm just saying, what's the significance of wearing those things? Like, they seem to wear, like, they go to the east and then they wear whatever it is they're wearing. They go to the north and then they wear like the... I'm telling them, like, okay,
What are they wearing?
what's the point? I think he has that Igbo red attire on that you see
Is she Agu?
governor wear a lot. The
that's
governor actually wears it a lot.
So the thing is, for me, my opinion on this one is that it's a form of identifying with your host. It's like the typical, very powerful. A wise man actually once said this. Biu ba wo ankara o le jesemu. If you do not wear ashwebi, they will not serve you at the party. Okay. So the president have to wear it so that they can serve him when he go there. Anybody that come there, you are now one of the party.
Interestingly, when presidents travel to other states, do they serve him food?
Is he a robot? Is he AI?
Wait.
Except he's not staying there for long.
Have you ever seen come on now.
No,
have you ever
for
seen
protocol,
been captured?
For protocol, you cannot record a president because they're not even allowed to eat in public. Yeah,
they're not allowed to eat in public.
No, you're not.
Okay.
You're not. You're not allowed to eat or drink in public.
But what if you're not
very hungry? They're not like us, really and truly.
Yeah.
But the president is not like you. Are you president? I'm just
for events. For events where they're going to want to avail themselves, there's always a cordoned off area. There's a VIP section that nobody gains access to, and there's no cameras.
So you can go in there
if he's interested in having
eat with his hands and all that.
Yeah,
okay.
I've been to 1 or 2 parties like that where we thought we were in VIP, but I share VIP self get senior brother.
Okay.
There's VVIP.
There's VV. Yeah. Okay.
So and this wasn't even it wasn't a president. It was a governor and some kings, and that's where they went to, so. But because my friend was there, I was not asking him, what's happening there? It's animal farm all over again. But we left some people outside too. Then there was the driver's area, and then there's the general area.
So you're feeling happy with yourself?
After all, the general, we did not stay in the general area.
I like you.
We stay in the hall. We were in the hall.
Okay, so you're feeling happy with yourself?
After their own is canopy now. They put them inside canopy and they think they are special.
You are taking to another level. What is the annoyance now?
I don't understand at this point.
Anyway. So for protocol reasons. But the reason, it's a good thing that you raised it. It's a form of, seriously, identifying with your host. Say, we are together and I like what you're doing. And, of course, so it's something that actually grew from the campaign trail and made its way into our daily life. And now that there's this reawakening, everybody is pushing their culture and their tradition, and boldly so. So it's a good thing.
Okay, so we're moving straight. I'm still talking about this matter, and one of the very interesting things that the president is commissioning today, or has commissioned actually, is Anambra State's first ever government house. Yeah. Basically, what they're saying is that there was no seat of government. In fact, according to the governor, the makeshift place that is supposed to be the governor's residence is not even in the state capital.
Yeah. So a lot of people know the most popular city in Anambra is not the capital. That's Onitsha.
Yeah.
Awka is the seat of government, and that's where the government. The funny thing is, not me, one of my friends that served in Anambra, someone I know very well. I think it was posted there, but he redeployed to Lagos. It was posted to the government house. Maybe he would have seen it and he would be able to talk about it here. But the thing about it is, I was watching a video where one of the former governors of the state was talking about how, he was staying in an hotel.
Okay.
And the hotel was his government house and all of that. You get. And as much as some people have a contrary view to this, I feel that it is shocking that you would have a temporary abode for so long. It's called temporary for
over
a reason.
30 years. Are we saying that? I don't know that.
In some states, some governors have 2 or 3.
Oh, they moved. People have even moved from one to another.
No, as in like Lagos now.
Yeah, they
Lagos
even have more than
at least
one.
2, if not 3. I know there's GRA. I know there's Alausa, and I know that there's that's the GRA one, and there's Marina.
If anybody is listening in from that area, let us. I
find it difficult. But you know that you can also
really and truly. When you read it, I was asking myself, can that be true?
But we know that we can also explain it that maybe it's a lot of money that they rather use for other things than build a house.
It comes in phases. They're not expected to put the 10 billion down. If at all it's 10 billion, And that's why there's continuity.
So,
anyway.
like, you know why I'm saying so
Okay.
is because, really and truly, is there really for security reasons, but really and truly, it's just a house that you're supposed to sleep and wake up.
It's beyond that. It's
this
beyond.
is me just
yeah.
So it's beyond
yeah.
just a house. You understand? It's about logistics. It's about coordination. It's about effective governance. For instance, you do not have to go too far from office to house and from house to office.
Yeah,
as
most
a
of
governor,
them have their offices like around the same compound.
it's the same complex, you know.
Then
So
when you have guests coming in,
you have enough space to put them
meet
up
them,
and
yeah.
everything. But again, it also has to do with the fact that your domestic staff and most of them are also domiciled there. So it's beyond just a house. It's an entire complex of offices and apartments and everything. That's what they have, and that's what helps you, you know, cut down cost of logistics and all of that. Yeah, we tend to do a little bit of affluence here and there, but the truth is, the earlier you build it, the better. The thing about it being in phases, I also think is very dumb, in the sense that if an entire complex is going to cost you 100 billion naira to put together in 2025, it will cost you more the next year and the year after and the year after. So again, you know, the is it economics of scale or whatever? The earlier you get some of these projects done, the better.
yeah.
And that's why
we don't
smart
make case for
smart governors now,
Yeah, what did you call them?
smart,
Okay.
they are building
Okay.
and paying upfront, so that the variations will not be allowed.
Yeah.
If you come and tell me now that, oh, I want to build this 10-kilometer road and it is 6 billion naira per kilometer, for 10 kilometers, 60 billion, I'll pay you 80% or 90%. Do you understand? I'll pay you so you don't come back. No stories, no nothing. If you now come back 6 months after when you're
Now it's
supposed
not
to
my
deliver,
business. I've paid
okay,
you.
I don't pay you.
Yeah, it
Do
makes
you understand?
sense.
So again, it's a way of saving money, and anybody that you give such monies, you also monitor to ensure that there are markers, there are deliverables, that within a certain period you should have done X number of rooms or X number of floors and everything, and that way you get projects done. So for Soludo to have achieved this much in less than 4 years, you know, I must say kudos
Yeah,
to
he's
him.
built. Yeah, that's true. He built
he's
it
built
in less than 4 years.
Less than 4 years, right?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
This is his first term as a governor.
I'm sure he had it in mind before he came.
Yeah.
Okay, look, in 34 years, no state house,
Yeah,
no
he had
official
it in mind.
residence for the governor. It doesn't make
I
any
think they've
sense.
been very comfortable.
So
over
I have
time.
a question though.
They've been comfortable over time.
So at least I know of
Without a
Obiano.
government house.
I know of Peter Obi. Ingige.
Yeah.
Seriously?
Ezife, I think Chukwemeka Ezife was also,
Seriously?
I think so.
Wow. Anyway, I think
they're
that
good managers.
the governor. No, we don't. Let's go there. Do not do that.
No,
Do
they are
not
good
do that.
managers
Do not do that.
of finance, right? They are really.
Do not do that. Don't go there. Don't go there.
Okay, don't look for. I heard.
Anyway, the governor has now. It's safe to say that he's etched his name in the sands of time. That he was the one that
Really
built Anambra's first, and I think it's a bit embarrassing. They're the only state that never had a government house. Anyway, before the president arrived, the governor had barred anyone from wearing any form of party uniforms to the venue of the president's visit.
Party uniforms meaning.
And now those Ankaras of different parties, nobody was wearing nothing.
Okay.
You're not allowed to wear all those things. And I think it's a smart move, yeah? At the end of the day, like him or not, is Nigeria's president. He's your president. So it's not about what he does or what he does not do. But
Also what he wears.
oh, yeah. But so
It's not even about the president. If he had made such a call, it's more about, for instance, we all know now that the PDP does not have a candidate for the governorship election there. So the contenders would be APC, Labour Party, and the others.
yeah.
And you think the governor, the president of Nigeria would go to Anambra and APC people will not go there? Do you understand? They might steal his own thunder now. Like if they go there in their APC apparels, they're like, so it's another way of saying I don't want to politicize this, you know.
Yeah, makes
so
sense.
Let's just have a neutral meeting and
A level
everything.
playing field for everybody.
Yeah, for everybody.
That's right.
Makes sense. So let's move on from that quickly. Let's go to the National Assembly. Start from the Senate. The Senate yesterday had passed 2 tax reform bills, and they also retained the 7.5 VAT. So it looks like maybe before the end of the week, there finally might be a set of tax bills that will be sent to the president for assent.
This is revolutionary. This is a big deal. If you understand how Nigeria has never really reviewed our tax laws and everything to reflect, you know, the times that we're in and that we've been through. If you also go check it out, there was a lot of pushback about this.
Yeah, it was.
And it got to a point where people were even going to come to fisticuff. It was just going to be all of that. And there's one profound thing that the government of the day did. They said, nope, we're not withdrawing any bills. Let's just look
Let's
at
have a
the
conversation
areas where
around it.
you
Fantastic.
feel needs to be walked out. You know, so all the people were at daggers drawn, you know, brought out their critics and everything was walked
Yeah,
out.
which is at the end of the day is what dialogue does a lot more than
does.
just so people were just going to scrap the thing completely. It wasn't going to
So if-
see the light of day.
If we're going to be honest with ourselves, because see, the problem we have is that we bring a lot of sentiments and emotions into things that have to do with governance.
Yeah.
And what this basically means is that we're about to enter a new sphere of governance with this tax reforms. And if we allow things to take its natural course, Nigeria as a whole, and even individually as subnationals, will be the better for it. It's the dawn of a new era,
Okay.
in my opinion.
Okay.
No, I think you're right because
Okay.
just a query because for a long time we really have not had a good talk about tax checks and balances in this country, and that's the reason why over time we have found that people could, in quotes, defraud government and get away with it.
One profound thing, and you know,
Particularly.
it shocks me how
Yeah.
people are able to turn logic on its head. One profound thing is that low earners will not pay taxes on their income.
On their income anymore.
And how they are able to get people angry to say we don't want this reform is what shocks me. You're saying that people who earn under 1 million and what they're not going to be paying taxes at all.
At all.
And again, the system is not to increase taxes. You don't need to increase the tax. It's to increase the number of people paying it. To bring more people into the dragnet. So the high earners and everything are actually going to start paying their taxes. You get. So I remember when we were really, really, really young. At some point, they'll tell you, take this note to your parents when you get home. And we get home and our parents look at it and say, okay, no problem. The next day you're going, your dad gives you a slip of paper. You know, being a smart kid, you quickly read it. Oh, it's his tax receipt. And they actually told you to bring it in school before you could activate this or get that or get that.
Yeah.
And this was way back in the 80s. So every time people tell me about what went wrong in Nigeria, I always blame the military. I always blame the military because they suspend the system, they suspend the rules, the constitution, and everything.
Anytime they come in,
Yeah,
something changes.
they suspend everything, you know, because
Something
now
changes.
everything is done by fiat. There's the Supreme Military Council.
There's no looking at things.
So nobody's
No.
looking at the constitution
No,
to say,
they're not.
oh, how do we get... They don't even care about that. So that's how a lot of things went bad in this country.
But I also
Anyway.
believe that they should be ready to explain through a book, publication, these new
things.
Things
Yeah, I
in
agree.
the
There
tax.
should be a lot more
There's-
information being put out there. Yeah, I
loaded
agree.
information, so people
So-
can pick and read from.
They've already done that, actually. Zach Adedeji, the taxman, and his team have actually done a lot in that regard.
Okay.
And again, the National Orientation Movement and the Minister of Information also had to jump on that bandwagon. They had to jump on that train.
So I saw
and all of
that, with what you said, there was a lot of information on social media. But I
Yeah.
think I agree with Uncle T, because it's the angle of not everybody's on social media. So,
Yeah, so
having
that's
these
what
things in tiny books and educating even children in school as part of civics and all that,
Exactly.
those things should actually
I agree.
be
I'm
done.
just saying that that's what they did, but they've not done enough. Is what you're saying, and I totally agree with you. I'm not disregarding what you said. I'm just saying that it was actually interesting that for the first time we saw that a government parastatal and some arms of government would actually have to go full throttle. One of the
Alright,
biggest things is that we were all caught up in the hype as against the nitty-gritty, because these guys went from state to state sensitizing and gathering information before they came up with this.
Okay, now let's move on quickly from that, as we're going to be talking about quite a number of things. And our next thing is Labour Party. And we've been having this conversation for a couple of days now, this week. Now, it looks like the crisis is deepening. And the truth is, if one is being objective, the way the trajectory of the Labour Party is going, will they still have a party anymore? And why? Let me explain.
Okay.
As of today, we know that a few days, was it yesterday or 2 days ago, the faction of Julius Abure that is supposed to be the chairman, which I don't understand what he's doing at this point, has suspended the little duly elected officials that they have left. They suspended the senator, the Abuja senator, Senator Ireti Kingibe. They suspended the only governor they have. They suspended, I think, 2 House of Rep members. They suspended quite a number, about 7 or 8 people were suspended. Yeah? By Julius Abure's faction. Which I find it very hard to even say faction, because at this point, according to Supreme Court, he's not the chairman. Now, the governor has now come out to say that, calling on the IG to arrest him because he is no longer the chairman.
Which governor is calling on to arrest who?
Governor Oti, the only governor they have now.
Okay, now I get you. Yeah, go ahead.
The only governor they have is now calling on the Inspector General to arrest Julius Abure, saying that he's impersonating people, 1. 2, they have also now set up a panel, a disciplinary panel. Yeah, and this is a faction of the Nenadi Usman and the Governor Oti and all that to look into the actions of Julius Abure. Now, according to the court judgment, if I'm correct, Julius Abure is no longer the chairman of the Labour Party. However, I don't even think the court was also clear. And why I would maybe give the court leeway is because it is what you bring to the court that the court would is your prayers before the court that the court will answer to. They're not supposed to pick.
Absolutely.
Do you understand? But there's also no clear-cut leadership. Because now the caretaker committee that Nenadi Usman is supposed to chair, what is the legal basis for that? Do you understand my point? So now, let's say they go into elections. Who are the excos that will sign your form as a Labour Party member to be able so that you can to endorse you to go for an election? So now this is where the issue is. Yes, we agree Abure is not chairman, but even the faction that Governor Oti is in, the former the presidential candidate Peter Obi is, the former Senator Nenadi Usman, and you know that the Senator Ireti Kingibe, that faction is in. How what's it called? How legal? What legal backing do they also have? Take, for example, Senator Ireti Kingibe. Is she sure that she would have a party to contest again in 2027?
Good question. The way you're hanging it interests me a lot. And I must confess that, look, for a long time, I've always said that the structures of the political system in Nigeria, okay, absolutely talks about the Nigerian polity itself. Unfortunately, it is the people that move the party. People outside, non-executives, and people who are executives. I'm going to say something now. Everybody can talk. I don't really care. If it's not working, crumble the thing and start afresh. Because the way it's going about, the way they are all going about it, it's just child's play. You know the interesting thing. Okay, guys who are just in school, I'm talking about even studying history and international relations, 100 level, 200 level. They were asked a question in class, okay, about what's really happening. Are we turning into a one-party state and all that? And these guys came together and made a submission that as far as they are concerned, right, all parties should go. Don't hold election in 2027. Listen. It's a little bit.
No, it's not done now.
It's not a little bit. It's a little bit of cause for the kids, the children of 100 level, 200 level to be thinking this way. Okay, my question, my focus now is the so-called elderly people, right? Let me say it in Yoruba. Eron Patiti. Now want to run a nation. Is this how to run it? Is this how to go about it? We've had so many political
structures
falling apart in the past years. They swallow them up now. NPP or GNPP. NPP became GNPP at a point. NPP meaning and became GNPP. Then you had another one, Waziri's party and all that. They all merged. Mergers started to happen. What caused the mergers? Okay? Because each political structure then could not hold firmly. And so, rather than you have people living here to go to that place and cross-carpeting and all that, stay there and you just hold one or two parties together and form real parties. And then you go ahead and you structure it. But for me, let everybody sit down. Current chairman of these parties, sit down and ask yourself questions. Have you done well over time? Have you held the party together over? The structures are very weak, very, very weak. And honestly, if nothing is done, 2027 that is coming around the corner, it's just another.
So do we say that it was the people that, because the truth is, let's call it spade a spade, Labour Party has been there for years. So do we say that is the people that came into the party that destroyed the structure of the party? Because they might not be they might never have really been as big as they are now.
Yes.
But at least they had a party that was working. Okay. There was a time they had a governor. Senator Mimiko was a Labour Party, They might not have been your national party that I think they are now. I personally think that Labour Party is as big as you can call a national party now. But they were doing their own thing and it seemed to have been working.
Yeah.
Because now, if you look at the structure of the Labour Party, we don't even know which structure. Now, let's also keep in mind that there's also another faction that the NLC is fighting again. Do you get? And it's the truth.
Yeah.
What are we now going to do? And I really I don't feel for the people there.
No,
I feel for people
what do you feel for?
that believed in the Labour Party. The people that through their heart seeing and their mouth.
Some of them still do.
No, that's what I'm saying. That believed.
Okay.
And that thought that will carry them. And the truth is, whether we like it or not, in 2023, after what they achieved in like less than a year after the elections, it looked like a party that, if they keep at it, they just might get it.
Okay.
But in less than a year after the 2023 elections, there were already so many loopholes. Now, this is barely 2 years after the election. And the center, like you had said, of the party cannot hold. If you cannot run a party, how can you run a government?
Do you notice that most of the struggles and hassles within Sholadilopo, do you notice that it's all about positioning?
Yeah, everybody. And so will we call it greed or being selfish?
My question now is, they're not policy-driven things, that's causing this rancor. And as they always say, Yorubas have one song like this, so I won't go sing it yet. I wait for the.
Do not.
I will not sing it. I won't sing it. Let me hold on to it, but I'm still going to drop it. But let me hold on because it's all about who is here, who's supposed to be here,
what each person wants.
That's it. So they start struggling for those things. It's very evident. It's very, very evident. People who are even following them are even talking about it. Okay, we've not gotten out of here. Who is now the chairman? Look at the chairmanship position. I think they structured it 3 or 4 times now. I think since they were formed. I think so.
It is crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting submission from you guys. The whole matter, in my opinion, though, is that we are in a democracy, and in a democracy, as structured in Nigeria, we need political parties to function properly. We have multiple parties. But even if you go back to the basics, if you're going to talk about organizing for an election or organizing a political party, there are 2 different things. A political party that is national needs to have representatives, needs to have from the ward level, from ward to local government, from local to region, from region to state, from state to the what's it called now? Our 6 geopolitical zones to the national. Can the Labour Party actually boast of this?
Okay.
They can't. They cannot. And it was evident during the elections. Over 180-something thousand polling booths. Did they have polling agents in all those places? They did not.
The was weak.
They did not. Now, after elections were won and lost, what did they do? What did they do? They started fighting themselves. There was Abure, there was Apapa. What did they do?
What did they do?
After the elections,
it wasn't a small fight, real big fight.
Big
fight.
The original leader of that party should be the flag bearer of the. Without disregarding the position of the party chairman, it should be the flag bearer of the party. That's Peter Obi. And when crisis started, what role did he play to make sure that he quickly took charge? Now,
so
it's a
you're
delicate.
saying that he's the one that.
It's a delicate situation for him, because he's lucky and he's blessed to have a movement of supporters who would have followed him anywhere to any party in 2023, and he still has a large chunk of them who would still support him regardless of the party. I feel that Peter Obi should have taken complete charge of that party, and again, they should have been able to convince themselves to put their personal interest aside and look at the need for Nigeria to have a strong opposition, and eventually the need to govern Nigeria. And Nigerians will see it in the organization of Labour Party. So they didn't do any of that. Everybody was just taking care of themselves, and it was me, not Labour Party. And that's where the problem lies. That they cannot sit down at the table and tell, look, Mr. Abure, you've tried your best, but at this point, for this party to move forward, in fact, knowing that Peter Obi would want to contest the election again, it would be wrong to have an Abure who is from the south and a presidential candidate who is also from the south. So from that premise and other things, they need to start looking at how to structure themselves as a national party. Say, Abure, look on all indices, it's time for you to step down and let's get someone from the north.
Yes.
You get who will be the chairman of the party, because we definitely know that Peter Obi wants to run again. So you start to plan for 2027 by restructuring your party along the lines of a national party. They didn't do any of that. And when they don't do that, they did not consolidate on their victories. So the first set of defections were from Labour Party. It did not take people time to cross into PDP and APC. It did not take them time at all, because the party did not take charge. Look at when Tinubu became president, He had meetings with the caucus of APC in the House. Yeah. Then he also had general meetings with the entire House outside the House complex. At that point in time, Peter Obi should have also called all the Labour Party elected officials. Including the governors, including the experienced person. But you will learn from those. Look, whatever these people are doing, let's do it better.
You said something now. You said you will learn.
Yes,
right? You will learn.
Yes,
right?
Yes.
Do you know that if you appear very obstinate, and you look at a party structure and you say this is my party, you've lost it from that day.
So I have an issue or a few issues.
You are very correct about that. Sorry to do.
Yes, please.
But the fact of the matter, as I said, is that the day the party leader sees it as it belongs to us, right? You would understand what it means. The structures will be firmer. The structure. Who holds the structures? Who holds the structures? The people now. The people who formed that movement you talked about, and that's the truth. His party should have been so perfect because it started as a movement.
Yeah, it was supposed to be everything every other party wasn't. Now, my question is, and I know that a lot of people might, and maybe I don't understand because I'm not a politician. Number one.
You are.
No, I'm not. Oh.
Did you hear that?
Who knows me?
You heard that?
Yeah.
Microphone.
So, first is Mr. Julius Abure, what is his plan? It's obvious that the Supreme Court, your tenure are not only ended, the Supreme Court has officially kicked you out. What is your plan? Also, the other faction, there is still no legal backing for you guys as well. What is the plan going forward? Isn't it a dangerous trajectory that they're going? Because there is, in 22, if they continue like this, there will not be a party to contest in 2027.
Said that earlier.
Like, what's the plan? Like, what do you think? Okay, suspending the only governor, the Senate, on with what powers do you have to do what you're doing?
Well, there was something Shola said earlier that's very critical to our discourse today. What's the role of the leadership, party leadership? The man in charge, supposedly the chairman, leader of the party. What is expected?
Does it look like, I'm sorry, but does it look like he's in charge of anything? I'm sorry.
That's the angle we're coming from.
And I know that a lot of people keep going on about the way we're going, Nigeria is going to be a one-party state, but is it APC's fault that people want to go? And keep in mind, nobody can stop anybody from coming to the party. He's talking about that 3 House of Rep members from Katsina State are just moved from the PDP to the APC today again. Is it the APC's fault that people are moving to their party? Could it look like we're going to have a one-party state soon? If care is not taken, maybe. However, I will still say, is it the APC's job that you do not arrange your party properly?
I just want to drop this before Shola comes and Shola wants to come in here. Let me just say this quickly, right? The party that they are all rushing to, better beware. The party that you mentioned now, that they are all running to, has to beware.
Well, constitutionally, you cannot stop them from joining the party.
Yes.
There's freedom of association and everything. There's a very popular Yoruba saying that Bio Giri Olanu Alang Baoli Kowo. And for those of you who do not speak Yoruba, basically saying that if there's no crack in the wall, the wall gecko or the lizard cannot enter into that crack or into that hole. So I'm not saying somebody put the crack there. I'm just saying, well, there is a crack.
There is obviously a crack.
So in essence, what I was trying to derive at is that the opposition, they were prepared to be in power, but they were never prepared to be in opposition. They were were in charge. The first party that was registered was the PDP. People don't know that the PDP, the founding fathers, some of them left to go and start the APP a few weeks after PDP started. Some of them don't know that, again, some of those people left the APP to go and start the AD.
You see?
But if you dig, you understand what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
And the AD became opposition, became a Southwest party with a few people winning 1 or 2 seats in the North. The APP became a Northern party, but the PDP was the only national party. So they got to a point where they were saying that they would be in power for 50 years. They got to a point where they said they were the biggest political party in Africa. Yeah. They prepared for life in power.
They probably were.
They prepared for life in power, but they do not know how to handle life out of power. And the reason why is that it's a marriage of strange bedfellows.
So everybody wants to.
And if only you put party first, put country first, we will not have all this crisis. Do you understand? And I think that's why the APC is better off. They're better off because they started life in opposition. They started life without national power. They had to wrestle power by forming coalitions. And they had to make sacrifices. Ebola Tinubu's ACN merged with Buhari's CPC, merged with a faction of the PDP, the NPDP, merged with a faction of the AMPP, then merged with a faction of even what's it called? Abga, what's it called?
Yeah.
Before they got
they got to this APC.
Exactly.
And in that scenario, it was rumored that a Tinubu would be a vice president to a Buhari. But somewhere along the line,
that didn't happen.
At least we heard when Bukola Saraki was part of the founding fathers of APC, said they worked to block Tinubu and everything. It's edited. There's videos of it, so at least.
So that's not a rumor.
So allegedly, but it's not. He actually did say it, and there have been other discussions like that. So the bottom line here is that what that simply means is that Tinubu played the long game.
Did.
And said, you know what, Buhari, have your 8 years. In the process, APC, the ACN faction of it, produced the vice president. And you look at the structure. In fact, the NPDP was not going to get anything until they wrestled power for themselves.
They did.
And Saraki became Senate president.
And then they went back to the PDP.
And Dogara, or what's his name, became.
They went back again.
And as soon as they got the power, they went back to the PDP. Do you understand? They went back home. So what I'm trying to say in essence is that they are used to having power. They don't know how to run.
But you have not been in power for more than 8 years.
Yes.
Shouldn't you have learned?
So that's why I'm saying that they are not able to put party interest first. Party interest in the sense that, again, the permutations of 2023, people are using it for, and it's different now. I'm just stating it now because that's what transpired. Obi 6.1, 6.2 million. Atiku 6.7, 6.8 million. Tinubu 7.8.
It was 8 point something.
8 point something, yeah?
Something, yes.
And that's the permutation. People are that if you have the two Obi and Atiku, it won't work like that again.
It's not.
Because a lot of things have changed.
It can't happen.
However, if as at that time, Atiku, for instance, I said, you know what, Obi, you have this mad movement now, and I want to tap into it. But you know, I've been vice president before, I want to be president. Obi says, no, my people will not agree. And Atiku looks at it and said, the only way I can stop Bola is to support Obi. Do you know that Peter Obi is president of Nigeria today?
With the way 2023 elections were going, yes.
If Atiku's movement of 6.7, 6.8, I said, no,
let's step down.
You know what? Let's allow Obi.
Oh yes.
It's the other way too. If an Obi has said, okay, I was your vice before, no problem. But why is power going back to the north? Now let this out with Atiku goes, you know what? Let me just run this one. You know, maybe 4 years, then you can do 8
most
years,
likely. Yes.
Blah 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 blah. Guess what? Atiku will be president. Obi will be vice. Tinubu would not have won. Because a lot of things were working against it. A lot
of things. However, like
is the people.
What I am trying to say in essence, I'm only talking about people who vote. I'm not talking about because
no.
a country that has 96 plus million people
how
registered,
many-
and we get less than 32 million voting,
Yeah.
is problematic in itself.
But anyway.
So, but those things have changed.
Oh, they've changed. Oh, they've changed. Oh, yeah.
How do you know?
Yeah.
From the entire history of this current cycle of democracy that since 1999, Delta State, for instance, has always been PDP.
Rivers as
Never
well.
flipped flop before.
Never.
Rivers is still PDP, but the sad part is that Rivers is 2 PDPs now.
Oh, yeah. What I'm saying is that before 2023, Rivers and Delta, at least-
They're not swing states. They don't
They're
swing
not
their votes
swing
or
states.
anything. You know,
I was reading it 2 days ago. The oldest serving House of Rep member is from Delta State. The man has always been in PDP. He has moved to the APC
so
since 1999.
things have changed. And again, the only way the opposition, now I'm talking PDP, Labour, Shore, everybody, is for them to have that coalition not about who is going to be president, but about who is going to kick the APC out. Do you understand what I'm saying now?
Mm-hmm.
But you see, the problem that they have, amongst themselves, everybody wants to be president.
Everybody has their own selfish
That's
reasons.
exactly where
That
we
is the
started
problem.
from.
That is
So,
remember,
if you can
because-
put your personal
Yeah.
interest aside, you will get something. You will get somewhere.
and that
You'll
was
give
why,
him a run.
And that was why I said earlier that the problem that APC will be carrying on the shoulder, right? No be small one.
Yeah, but
Because
you
it's
see,
all about the
beauty of
people. It's about the people now.
the luck that the APC has,
These are the people.
the luck that they have.
When they move to one place, okay, they carry along the bags and baggages as well as their attitude, characters, and focus that they've had.
Yeah,
which
but
is
the
fighting
APC
for themselves alone.
The APC understands.
They fight for themselves
They
alone.
understand. I think.
Why?
I think, in my opinion, that they understand politics better. They understand the quid pro quo of politics, where it's a give and take scenario. As soon as Sheriff Abure crossed from PDP to
the APC.
he was handed the leadership of the party in Delta. This is a state that has a former Deputy Senate President.
President, yeah.
This is a state that has a serving minister. They understand. And he made that Sheriff, because his surname is hard to pronounce. Governor Sheriff made that pronouncement on stage there that I am now in charge of this party in this state. Do you know what that means?
Yeah.
Do you know what that means? That they understand politics. They do.
It's interesting, but
As against the PDP, where you will now still see someone say, I don't care if you are just coming as a governor, I'm the one in charge.
Go and take your turn.
That's where the problem is, and that's
Go and
where
take
politics
your turn, yes.
is not being played well by the PDP.
it's interesting. We're definitely going to be seeing a lot more of this issues back and forth. However, Peter Obi, as I think, has finally replied Governor Sanwo-Olu, saying that he's only saying the truth when he says some of these things, and he doesn't demarket the country.
All right. The only funny thing about it is that why did it take him so long to respond?
To respond, I mean. Anyway,
It was almost as if he had to go and think and think and think.
Anyway, let's move on quickly from that. As the federal government, through the Ministry of Education, has now decided to scrap scholarships for students abroad. So, according to the Minister of Education, they're saying that there is no course that anyone wants to go for under the scholarship scheme that is not resident in Nigeria, that why use the money to fund schools abroad, when if you want to go through scholarship through the federal government, that they're going to use that to fund schools in the country instead of paying schools abroad.
Nigeria First policy that they launched 2 days ago, we discussed it here, and we tried to break it down to a large extent. I'm linking it to this, and I'd mentioned there that day that this was a policy that started in 1960, but of course, again, I'll tell you, the military truncated a whole lot of things.
You're right.
But back to this current matter, it was as at that time that they were sending Nigerian kids out to school for medicine and
engineering,
and that's why I said that laws need to be updated,
Poland,
systems need to be updated,
I
and
remember.
everything. The truth is, They are not saying, the Nigeria First policy is not saying anything that Nigeria can manufacture, don't import it. That's not what they are saying. What they are saying is that for their own government institutions, buy the Nigerian one.
What? Yeah, is if you can now get it,
then you can now bring in.
Because it makes sense.
So,
why is Nigeria?
does.
Why we use taxpayers' money to pay for school fees abroad?
If you are saying that, and you're now asking for people to keep their kids in Nigeria, to reduce the capital flight, everybody's buying dollar to send to their kids abroad. If those kids learn here, and of course, you know why I know Nigerian education is good enough. Hardly have you found any Nigerian, especially the ones that study medicine, that have gone abroad that didn't get a job.
You know that,
even if it means that in America you have to go through
that
the
is
system.
even far.
Hardly.
You know that you don't need any other extra exam other than your WAEC to get into schools abroad.
That's how good WAEC is. Yeah. So,
You don't need it.
But in the same vein, I am now going to say to the government, also ensure that no Nigerian official goes abroad for medical treatment again.
Yeah, it's another thing that we need to look. And speaking about health, the federal
Let's have it.
So the Federal Ministry of Health and Social Welfare has now debunked a viral salt advice. So apparently, a pastor had come out to say that people should eat salt and this and that and that. Pastor Yakilome actually, and
which of the Oyakilomes is this?
Pastor Yakilome, how many?
There's more than one Pastor Yakilome.
I think she's referring to the
Christ Embassy, the leader of Christ Embassy. Okay.
Embassy.
There's more than one.
Oh yes. Yeah. But it's fine.
Maybe you want to Google.
The prominent one. Is
the prominent one. So apparently, the Ministry of Health is now saying that excess sodium is bad for you. Do not listen to what the pastor says. He is not a medical person. And I think this is very important because this story seemed to have been going around like for the past couple of days. It actually, yes, it's a thing, and the man has a large following.
Let me tell you something that is funny that I noticed growing up in Nigeria, and I think that thing has stopped. It has reduced, not like it has stopped. Every restaurant or eatery that you visited, they would have salt and pepper and toothpick bunched together in the center of the table there. And whenever they bring food, without tasting their food,
it became
did you not
thing.
notice?
Everybody would
people will pick that thing and they're pouring salt on it. Like, you get.
Do you know they sprinkle up to the toothpicks?
Yeah. Yes, you're right.
Unknowingly.
I've seen people.
I don't know.
So I noticed early, like, we have a salt problem in this country.
No, do we? Oh, yes.
We have a salt problem in this country.
More like, no, maybe you're looking at it wrongly. Maybe we just really like tasty food. Spicy. No, please. Because if you travel abroad, true, they have a salt problem. They don't eat salt.
Is there any biblical...
They don't like salt.
Now, since it's a pastor's voice, is there any biblical explanation?
You see, the only biblical explanation that I know is that
don't do that.
That when you look back, you turn to salt.
I knew it was going to get to that. So, my own argument is that.
Did you guys ever wonder when
don't do that? We're moving on. Let me finish.
When she turned to salt, did they carry her along to be using the salt?
My question
to cook.
My question is, number one, why? And this is, and maybe people that are not Christians might not understand. Why am I going to church on a Sunday morning and is don't take salt, eat salt? That is deep. It's the same way I saw a video. Wait, it's the same way I saw a video.
The Holy Spirit can minister anything.
Let me finish my talk.
Any preacher.
Let me finish my talk. It's the same way we saw a video of the pastor that was saying, Barcelona a bit. Why am I in church and you are giving me? How does that? That's the part I don't understand.
I have moved on from the salt matter.
As the spirit
There are different
Which spirits? Which spirits? Don't let
to look for there's evil spirits too.
Okay,
spirit
because
not need.
let's be honest though.
And there is
we cannot conclude on this matter today.
Do people remember?
No, we won't dwell on it.
Do people remember that the saying, if you are a Christian, the sin of the spirits is don't lie against the spirit. So
if you're a Christian,
don't be lying against the spirit.
So for me, the only thing I'm going to say about this is that I honestly don't have a problem with any pastor that says these things. My problem is with the people who go back to the same church. Like, you're in church and your pastor said that Barcelona is going to win.
And out.
And Barcelona lost. And I'm back there for my pastor to explain. You go explain, tire.
Okay.
Look.
Likewise, the same with the salt.
It's just like when Jesus said to his disciples.
Likewise with the salt, right?
I'm not going back to salt again. I'm done with salt. That's why I don't even cook with salt. Those that know me know. I just do sprinkle. So, when Jesus was walking on water in a turbulent place, one guy looked and said, Baba, how you did run this thing? And I said, come. He beckoned on him. That one can't sink. You know why? Because his faith was not strong. Do you get?
No, I don't. Because at this point, I don't understand.
When the guy won't go walk out of water, wait first now.
We're moving on. We don't have
But
to.
Jesus can't give him leave and say, guy, believe. If you believe, you go achieve. You achieve to receive.
What are we saying?
What I'm trying to say in essence is that.
What
I'm trying to say in essence is that. If when Jesus tell person say make you walk out of water, the guy sink. Nobody will follow Jesus again, because that time they get sense.
Now it's not without no sense.
Now people don't have sense because it's not possible that a pastor will come out and tell me that Barcelona will win. Then Barcelona now go and lose. The pastor will now come and tell me, don't worry, Arsenal will beat Oga alone.
When we started from politics, right?
I don't know how we got.
He had one that brought Barcelona. Is you. Thank God this video is recorded.
I had moved on.
Please,
you were the one.
Please, you people that go back to all these pastors that talk nonsense, all the pastors that predicted during the election, all of them, their churches are bigger than before. How?
How do you?
How? What would Jesus do?
Anyway. Quickly before we go, very dark man VDM has regained his freedom. His lawyer actually said it that he had been released. I think there's a video of him, his lawyer Dejado Yojo. However, they said that his phone and his car is still with the EFCC. The man also said that he really likes the EFCC chairman, that he was released or they didn't have to pay anything for him to be released. But however, the only conditions were that he had to be produced every time they need him for investigation. So it's safe to say he's not off the hook yet.
Yeah, reminds me of Ugungi Wationgo's book, Not Yet Uhuru.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a thing of jubilation yet, because if the case was closed, he would have his phone and his car. You get, but it's obvious that they also weighed the backlash and looked at it and said, you know what? Douse the tension, let him go. Because the guy has a massive followership. That's the truth.
Apparently, we are so quick to give ourselves names.
Yeah.
What do they call themselves?
Rattles.
Yeah, how did they?
No, he's been calling them rattles since.
Oh,
he has a rattles movement. He's always talked
What's
about the
rattle?
rattle. It's an animal. You need to look it up. Yeah, so he's always. There's VDM in Cameroon now. There's a VDM movement in Italy. There are Chinese people who are supporting him. Wow. It's really gone. In Ghana, he has a massive followership.
Anyway,
so I'm just going to use this opportunity. Look, VDM, you need wise people around you still. You're a good guy. You have good intentions. But you tend to step out of line a lot.
Yeah. Anyway, finally, before we go, there's been a third round of voting or balloting at the Sistine Chapel at the Vatican, and there's still no Pope yet.
No. We have dark clouds, right?
Yes. Dark smoke. So there's still no Pope yet.
Do you know people are gambling on this thing already? They're betting sites and all of that. Who are already people are putting money on it. I just say make I tell you now.
What? Okay.
Nothing where they don't feel bet.
At this point, I have no words.
Nothing
I have
where they
no
don't feel
words
bet
on that.
People
Anyway,
dey bet.
on that note,
I can bet that this program is ending now.
That's all we ever take today on the bar. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching.
That's her name.
We will be talking. So anyway, on that note, we'll see you guys tomorrow at 3 p.m. West African time. Have a beautiful, beautiful day ahead.
Why are you doing